Hey, good evening, it's Sabine. Yesterday, the Lord showed us the joy set before us of the desired hope, the blessed hope of us meeting our groom before the altar, and how that is depicted, foreshadowed in the heavens. And I get asked this question a lot about the signs in the heavens. Are they simultaneous? Are they foreshadowing signs? And I believe it is most often the case that they are foreshadowing signs, just like road signs along the highway, but ultimately there will be an exit. And that is what we are trying to pinpoint. Oftentimes the Lord is showing us things prior to the event happening, so we are aware of what is happening. We can prepare ourselves, inform, instruct others. But sometimes there is a simultaneous event in the heavens and on earth, and I believe tomorrow that is the case. So this is one of the celestial signs I haven't covered yet, and I'm going to today because I believe the Lord wants us to be vigilant about tomorrow too, because we know that the enemy has tried to stamp his mark all over 9/11 to mire the amazing event of the birth of our Lord, 9/11 3 BC. And they've been hinting profusely about a second 9/11 attack. So I'm not given understanding or insight with regard to a second 9/11 attack, but what I find interesting is that there is a simultaneous twinkling of an eye in the heavens as well as on earth tomorrow. So this video is entitled The Twinkling of the Bullseye, as above, so below. So let us go a little bit back into the article because we covered the dwarf planet Ceres. It is a lesser known planet, and one of the greatest asteroids has been relabeled to be a dwarf planet Ceres. And if you look into the astronomical writings by people who are doing that from a biblical perspective, you find that Ceres means the grain brought forth, or Jesus brought forth. And we know that Jesus modeled both the barley as well as the wheat planted in the ground when he died and rose again on the third day. So if we look at the lunisolar calendar, it will be a third day. And it's also Jesus, his birthday. So dwarf planet Ceres, the grain brought forth, or Jesus brought forth, strengthens this beautiful birthing and harvest picture in the heavens that we have seen. From the birthing of the moon out of Virgo, the woman, progressing onto the aisle toward the altar of her redemption, seeing her redemption drawing nigh. That is what we're going to see tonight in the heavens. We're going to see our redemption drawing nigh. So the harvest picture made by Ceres in the Hyades. The Hyades is the cluster in the forehead of Taurus, the bull, and it points to the congregated believers. And Ceres aligns with Orion, and the brightest star in the constellation Canis Major, Sirius, and we have uncovered that to be the eye of the hawk, not the dog, but the eye of a hawk. And that points to Jesus, the Prince of Peace, coming down swiftly to snatch his own. So Ceres is aligned with the Hyades cluster, the congregated in the forehead of the bull, and specifically, Ceres is ascribed as the maiden, but also a goddess of agriculture, particularly of wheat harvest and of marriage. And there is a reference in the Strongs as well. It's also tied to a 7-day feast given to that deity Ceres starting on April 15th, which happens to be on Passover. So it's tied to both Passover, and now it is tied to Jesus' birthday. And author Louis Vega has written an article about this relation to Passover. It reveals how Ceres also conjuncted with the star Spica, the first fruits of wheat in the left hand of constellation Virgo. And that first of the blood moon tetrad was on April 15th 2014. So tomorrow we're going to have a double twinkling of the eye, both in the heavens as well as on earth. In the heavens, it's going to be in the constellation the Hyades, in the forehead of the bull. Taurus, the bull, is denoting Jesus coming down to both rescue and judge. So it's judgment, but also mercy and the rescue of the bride and the innocent. While on earth, in New York, at the exact timestamp when the Northern Tower was taken down, 10:28 in the morning, the Oculus building on the grounds of the WTC is going to be opened, and the sun above it is going to create that twinkling of an eye, because the oculus, the name refers to it, the construct of that building is shaped in an eye, and not just any eye. It is a reptilian eye, and if you look at the building from the front side, it looks like a dragon coming down. So that is what is going to take place in the heavens simultaneously. I'm going to show you right now. So September 11th, the dwarf planet Ceres, meaning Jesus as grain brought forth, lines up with Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the red star, the eye of the bull of the southern horn of Taurus. That is the gatekeeper of the celestial silver gate, the area in the heaven marked by Taurus, by Auriga, Rapture Man above it, Gemini to the left, and Orion to the south. That is the silver gate, and Aldebaran is the keeper of the silver gate. This is where we find Ceres, right at the bullseye of Taurus, the bull. So the dwarf planet Ceres, Jesus as grain brought forth, lines up with Aldebaran, the red bright cardinal star in Taurus's Hyades cluster. This is the Hyades cluster in the forehead of Taurus the bull, and this line would go toward the Pleiades cluster, which is on the backside of the bull, representing the seven churches. So the Church of Brotherly Love is the star which corresponds to Aldebaran. We're going to see that in a second. And the Hyades as a whole represent the congregated or called out believers. Within this context, Ceres emulates the king being in the fields. Remember that we shared yesterday that most likely tomorrow is also the day, or actually it's already starting tonight, that the king is in the field. Ceres, a representation of the grain brought forth amidst the believers in the harvest field. And the Lord is surrounded by his disciples, handpicking the crop of the new kingdom. So here we see the position of the dwarf star, dwarf planet Ceres, next to Aldebaran, September 11th. And the alignment of the Hyades cluster in the forehead of the bull. Here is an overlay of the countries Greece and Turkey, because the country of Turkey is corresponding to Taurus, the bull. And in particular, the star Aldebaran reflects the Church of Philadelphia. And if you want to read more about that, you can click on the link in the article. And this is a drawing by Nicole Poon. She has made an amazing amount of beautiful prophetic drawings, and this one had stuck with me, and I was going through my files and I found it again. It is Taurus the bull, the Lord coming down to both rescue and judge, the picture of an eye as well as a twinkling, and two celestial bodies coming down. And this is the rendition of the constellation Taurus, the Hyades cluster in the forehead, and the right eye of the bull, Aldebaran, the red eye, the bullseye, and the Pleiades cluster over here. So, Louis Vega shares, amazingly, the seven churches of Asia are in an inverted V formation, also depicted from the book of Revelation, and are distanced apart in a similar pattern from the Taurus mountains, as are the Pleiades from the Hyades in the head of Taurus. The region within the head of the bull is called the Hyades and is also considered a pyramid type. Thus, this study suggests that the precise ancient locations to the 7 churches in Asia correlate as the Hyades of Taurus on earth as it is in the heavens. So this construct of above and below is going to be copied tomorrow. The 7 churches of Asia from the book of Revelation are geographically an inverted V shape, like the horns of a bull, or more precisely a pyramidion. So the missing capstone of the pyramid is also called a pyramidion. The region of the Hyades that is considered also a pyramid has the Church of Pergamum as the capstone. This was the ancient seat of the throne of Satan. The start of the churches, that of Ephesus, corresponds to the eye of Taurus, or the bullseye. And this is my own interjection here. Note how we are colloquially speaking of the mRNA vaccines as the V. And that is, I believe, maybe more than a colloquial manner of speech. I think it is can be considered as a capstone to the strategy of the enemy, their pre-tribulation strategy build. So a V as in victory, an inverted pyramid, and we know that the true victory is, of course, of the Lord, and in the heavens we can see the shape of the true victory of the congregated from the churches in the forehead of the bull Taurus. So now we come to the simultaneous event of what Ceres is depicting in the bull's eye, the twinkling in the eye of the bull on earth in the Oculus building in New York. At the time when the building will be opened, we will see the twinkling of an eye there as well. The Oculus building, a renowned earthly twinkling of an eye, is positioned in New York City. The Big Apple, which we know is going to be split, the harlot city of New York, is going to be subject to the first wave of judgment. As the annual opening of the Oculus building, which is aligned with the sun, it denotes a dragon or a raptous bird type structure, and on 9/11 the reptilian eye shape will open. The sun will twinkle in the midst of the eye structure at exactly the time the North Tower fell. So, from within, the twinkling of an eye, and on the outside we can see this building emulating a structure like a dragon or a raptorous bird, again in the shape of a V. And in the backdrop we see the Freedom Tower, that is also 2 V's inverted, as above, so below, and in the middle of the building it is an octagon shape, and the building as a whole has the shape of an injection. So once again, they are tying in that V shape with the capstone of their strategy, and that is the mixing of ivory play within the blood to subvert the power of the blood from within. And while the current mRNA vaccines are detrimental to people's health, they will undermine people's immune system, they will attack the body from within the blood. It is not the mark of the beast. It is only a precursor to the mark of the beast, a stepping stone. The mark of the beast has to comply with a very clear set of indicators in the scriptures, and the timing doesn't fit either. The mark of the beast will not be distributed until after the tribulation midpoint. So I'm going to put a link in the description box to a special page and some sharings I did on the topic previously, and an article I've written on the stepping stone toward the mark of the beast, so you can find a lot of printables to either leave behind about the time of the tribulation and what people are going to be facing, but also inform yourself, inform and instruct others. On that preparation page, you can find a format for a post-rapture letter to leave behind for friends and family you expect to be left behind at the first rapture, so they are well informed and well instructed about what time is to come. So see you in the next video.